What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Wednesday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast with me, Matt Perrault. My handle across all socials at Sports Talk Matt. This podcast is on a little bit of a heater. 2-1 last night. 3-1 if you played everything. I think I mentioned Penn State last night. I'm pretty confident I did. That one. Arkansas outright. Penn State outright. And what was the third bet that came in outright? I'm blanking on the third game that came in outright. Oh, Kansas State, outright. Covered, yes. Won outright. Oklahoma State got killed, but 3-1 for me on the night. 2-1 officially. Outright, you should be sprinkling money line, okay? Anytime, this is kind of an old adage, right? Anytime you bet the dog, you should always place about 10% of the bet on money line, just in case. If you did that last night, we did pretty well, okay? Not just getting the cover, but the win outright. So there are 3 games that fit the trend tonight. I'm not going to bet all 3. I'm going to bet 2 of them. There's a monster game in the Big East, which you know where I'm going with Creighton and UConn that we'll get to here in a second. I'll give you a couple other bets you can make. I'll give you a couple of leans if you like as well here, but I am really going to zone in on college basketball for the next couple of days, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Thursdays, we'll start looking at NBA. Friday, NBA for sure. But then we've got, obviously, the NFL on Saturday with 2 games on Saturday and 2 games on Sunday. So then next weekend, we're only going to have 2 games on Sunday, and then we have the Super Bowl, okay? So, I'm going to start to get more heavily into college basketball, and I did very well last year in college basketball. I'm going to hope to keep it going here and do well in college basketball. Let me see what we've done so far in 2024 in college basketball, because after going 2-1 last night, let's see. So we are, wow, is that right? Oh, that's college football. Sorry, college basketball. We're now 13-7. In college basketball, we're up 5.3 units so far in 2024. That's good, okay? So we're going to keep on going here. We're hitting at about 65% clip, so that's great. I mean, we won't keep that going all year long, but I'll take that. We've been good with the NFL, 11-5 so far in the NFL. That's 68% in the NFL in 2024. College football didn't end great, but the future came in because we were hedging off of it, so that kind of injured that a little bit. NBA hasn't been good. We're 1-4 in the NBA. That's only 20%. We're down 3.4 units there. And amazingly enough, hockey hasn't been great in 2024, only 2-3. So the podcast, we're up 10.6 units so far here in 2024. So that's great. To start the year, in January, up 10 units. So having a really good start to 2024. Let's keep it going and you would, look, this is kind of what happens, right? December stunk, and now January is good. These are the roller coaster rides. So I said something wrong yesterday. This podcast being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com. I left out a very important new little feature that we're doing. So the promo code still works, but we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to give you the web address that you're going to go to that's going to put it directly into the offer that you don't have to do anything at checkout. If you use this customized URL, it'll take you directly to the offer. You can check out, no need for the promo code. It will still work, but it makes it easier for you, and it's easier, frankly, to track it as to where the juice audience is coming from. So the audience is going to use this special URL code. www.omahasteaks.com/juice. Okay? www.omahasteaks.juice. That, when you use that, is going to give you 4 free air-chilled boneless chicken breasts and 4 free juicy boneless pork chops with every order. Now, minimum purchase may be required, but when you make an order, when you buy a package at omahasteaks.com, whether it be a filet or whether it be top sirloin or whether it be, get the burgers, whatever it be. I eat the burgers once a week. Burgers are awesome. They're absolutely phenomenal. You come frozen. You don't have to defrost the burgers. You just chuck them right on the grill. So, it's great for my daughter. And, 10, 15 minutes, you got dinner. It's really easy. It's awesome. omahasteaks.com/juice to get the 4 free chicken breasts and the 4 free boneless pork chops. Do it right now. Minimum purchase may be required. This offer will not last long. It's the love at first bite. Very fun. Love every bite spot going on right now at omahasteaks.com. Use that URL, www.omahasteaks.com/juice. All right, let's get into this. I am going to stick with college basketball. If you don't like betting college basketball, sorry, there's a really small NHL slate tonight, and I don't really love anything on it. There is a relatively small NBA slate. Well, it's kind of big, but nothing there. NBA and me, I'm not feeling it all that much at the moment. I can only watch so many things. Like, I only have so many hours in the day. So I'm liking college basketball a lot. We're going to stay with college basketball. Let's start with the game of the night. The Creighton Blue Jays are up against the number one team in the country. Now, KenPom has UConn at number 8. There's a big discrepancy here between who UConn is on paper and who UConn is with the voters. Now, everyone's been losing, so this has been kind of a house of horrors as to who has the number one name, the number one little number next to their brand. They've been getting beat and beat consistently. This is the first time in a long time, since 2009, that we've seen UConn be the number one team in the country, which they are right now. They don't have their big. Clingan is not playing, okay? He is out for this game, and Donovan Clingan is a 7'2" monster who matches up really well against Ryan Kalkbrenner. They don't have him. Huge advantage for the Jays tonight in the paint. UConn will know this. Couple of stats to throw at you here, okay? Greg McDermott, the head coach of the Creighton Blue Jays, is 6-1 against UConn all time. He is also 6-2 against UConn head coach Dan Hurley. Beat him when he was the coach of Rhode Island in the NCAA tournament with the Jays, beat him 84-72 back in the 2017 NCAA tournament. The Jays are 1-1 at Gamble Pavilion, 1-0 at the Excel Center. This game is on campus. All right, this is a campus game for UConn. 2-1 in these. These games are always tight. All 7 games between UConn and Creighton have been decided by single digits and by a grand total of 31 points. Okay, so we're talking 4 or 5 points here. The number to KenPom has it as a 6-point win for UConn. Number is 6. This comes down to one thing and one thing only to me. The Creighton Blue Jays' ability to hit the 3. UConn stinks at guarding the 3. They are 229th in the country in three-point defense. The Jays are 70th in three-point percentage, 36% from behind the arc. Here's the thing about the Jays. They get 39% of their points from behind the three-point line. That is a top 20 number. It is literally a make or miss game for the Blue Jays. They do not shoot free throws. They get 14% of their total points at the foul line. That is 350th out of 351 teams in college basketball. That's amazing. I mean, that is an amazing stat. They don't have anybody who can dribble, drive, and get to the rim. It's a shooting contest for the Jays, and they're playing a team who isn't good at stopping the 3. So you have Kalkbrenner inside to play defense. The Jays are going up against the 3rd most efficient team in college basketball. UConn is tremendous on the offensive end. They are 3rd in effective field goal percentage, but the Jays are 12th in adjusted efficiency and 13th in effective field goal percentage. Both these teams are top 15. I mean, it's amazing. The Jays are the number 1 team. They don't foul. They only give up 14 free throw attempts per game. Number 1 in the country. They don't foul you. So while they don't get to the free throw line, they don't put you on the free throw line either. So defensively, the Jays, 38th in three-point defense. That's better than UConn. They're 76th in three-point percentage. 26th in two-point percentage, up against the second best two-point shooting team in the country. UConn takes really good shots, but they don't have their big tonight. He's out with an ankle. It's big. That's a huge factor here. UConn gets 32% of their points from behind the arc to 135th, 49% or 50% of their points inside the arc, 2-point shots, 203rd in the country, 18% from the foul line. That's 217th. The Jays are the number one team in terms of what they give up at inside the arc. 65% of the points scored against the Jays come from inside the three-point line. Now, again, this Jays team, 39% come from the three-point line, where up against UConn, they give up 27% of all their points defensively or from behind the arc. That's 291st in college basketball. This is a three-point shooting contest tonight. I'm going to back on the Jays playing the number one team in the country. Kids get fired up when that number one starts bleeping and starts blinking, and you know you're on national TV, Fox Sports 1, the number one team in the country, and you're on the road in a hostile environment. Have you seen what's been happening in college basketball lately? I'm taking the 6 points. Creighton Blue Jays +6 up against UConn. If you know me, you know I freaking hate UConn. Okay? I called this a biased bet, call this whatever, but I think the justification to take the Jays +6 is there. The Jays are 5-3 this year on the road. UConn is 4-5 ATS at home this year. I don't mind a bet on the over, by the way. This game opened at 142. It's now 144. The Jays are 2-6, however, to the over on the road this year. It's scary to back a Creighton team to the over, given what they've done on the road this year. UConn's 5-3-1 to the over at home. That makes you feel a little bit better. But 144, I don't know. That concerns me. I'm more comfortable taking the dog. Jays +6 for 1.1 unit. That does not come into the trend that I bet last night. So in case you weren't with us last night, here's the trend. In conference play, a team that loses a road conference game in the previous game to turn around and come home where they are a home dog. We're taking the points and taking the team outright. Arkansas won. K-State won. Penn State won. Outright. Forget the points. They won outright. That was the number 11 and number 9 team in the country, by the way. Baylor was number 9. Wisconsin was number 11. They both went down. Now, they were at home. Okay, winning on the road in college basketball is really hard. Winning at home, much easier. Arkansas State and Southern Miss. Yes, you're going to go, what are we doing? Yep, okay. There's only 3 games that factor into this, okay? That Southern Miss that we're going to tell you about. I'll tell you about the Vanderbilt game in a second, and then another game I'll tell you about as well. But only 3 games come into play here for this trend, okay? You lose the previous game on the road, you come back home, next game you're a dog at home, both conference games, okay? Arkansas State against Southern Miss. So Southern Miss in their previous game on the road against Troy got destroyed, 82-56. Won their previous 3 games. Before that, they're 9-8 overall, 3-2 in conference play. KenPom has this as a 1-point win for Arkansas State, which is interesting because Arkansas State, they lost their last game as well at home to Louisiana, 84-80. They're 7-10 on the year, 3-2 in conference play. They don't have any great wins to write home about. Their best wins over UAB, which is 166th on KenPom. Number is 2. Southern Miss +2. I'm not going to go through the stats because they're really ugly. Like, some of them are awful. Like, the efficiency for Southern Miss's offense, 241st. But defensively, Arkansas State is 279th in efficient defense. Effective field goal percentage, Southern Miss, 282nd. Defensively, for effective field goal percentage, 199th. You want to talk about 2-point percentage, 307th for Southern Miss. They shoot a lot of threes. They also are kind of a team that's make or miss. They get 27% of their offense from behind the arc, 51% from inside the arc. We'll see what the defense looks like because defensively, Arkansas State's okay. On the other side, Arkansas State's not horrible offensively. They just haven't really done much. They are a team that really relies on three-point shooting, just like the Creighton Blue Jays. 38% of their shots, or of their points rather, come from behind the three-point line. They're 110th in three-point shooting. Southern Miss is not great at defending the three, but they're at home. Let's ride the trend here. This is a real test for it, by the way. If we get this, if Southern Miss wins this game outright, Southern Miss +2, 1.1 units. We'll jump in here with that. And then finally, we're going back to the Big East. This is the second game on Fox Sports 1. DePaul at home against Providence. DePaul has lost 4 games in a row. They've lost, unfortunately, 6 of 7, okay? It's not been pretty. They just lost to Villanova on the road, 94-69. The number is 8.5. Now, the one benefit here is that Providence equally is ice cold. They've lost 4 games in a row. They're coming off a loss to Xavier at home, 85-65. They got destroyed. DePaul, 8.5-point dogs. Couple things going in DePaul's favor here. Mostly on the offensive end, where like defensively, DePaul is not very good. The number being 8.5 kind of indicates that. But if you look at the way they've played, they've lost 4 games in a row. They've only covered 1 time on the road, but they lost by 26 to the Creighton Blue Jays. They were catching 15.5 points. They were catching 19 on the road to Nova. They lost by 25 points. But they're 3-6-1 this year at home, ATS. Providence is 3-2. They covered against the Jays and against St. John's on the road, but they lost both games. They were catching 7.5 and catching 11. They lost by 9 and they lost by 2. They were laying points against Seton Hall at home and they lost by 4. Their last game at home, though, got destroyed by Xavier. Like I mentioned, they were favored in that game by 2. They got killed, okay? Both these teams need it desperately. DePaul is 4-11-1 ATS. Providence is 9-7-1. Both teams are going to be hungry. DePaul's on national TV here in the wintertime in Chicago, which is freezing cold. Let's just keep this game close. They can lose it, but let's keep it close. KenPom has this as a little bit of a larger number. It's kind of surprising when you look at KenPom. They have this as an 11-point win for Providence. Number's 8.5. Opened at 9.5. It's been bet down. So there's definitely some people are taking the shot here, saying something's wrong with Providence. It's too many points. Let's jump in with DePaul here at plus 8.5. Again, you don't have to bet these, okay? This is a trend that I am riding, that I've done well with here, that I've uncovered, and we're going to keep it rolling here. We hit it with Michigan. We went 2-1. So far, I'm 3-1 betting this trend. 2 games that factor into it. DePaul plus 8.5. Southern Miss plus 2. The other game, the Creighton Blue Jays plus 6. Taking dogs here, 2 of them at home, 1 of them on the road. Biggest game of the night is UConn against Creighton. It's going to be phenomenal to watch that game tonight on Fox Sports 1. Now, Vanderbilt does factor in to this trend. My worry with taking Vandy here is that it could get ugly really fast for Vanderbilt. And KenPom has this as a massive win for Auburn, 81-65. So KenPom has it as a 16-point win, where if you shop and look around at the numbers, it's anywhere between 11.5 to 12, okay? Not enough points. But I'm going to bet this because it does factor into this trend, much like Penn State last night when I bet Penn State, Vandy also. Now, if Vanderbilt beats Auburn, that would be something, okay? Auburn's got 2 losses on the year. They lost on the road to Appalachian State in somewhat stunning fashion. They lost to Baylor in the first game of the year on a neutral, 88-82. But they've beaten, during this win streak, they've beaten LSU, A&M, Arkansas, USC, Indiana. They've been rolling people. Vanderbilt's at home. Vanderbilt needs a win. In their last game on the road, they lost to Ole Miss, 69-56. They've lost 3 games in a row. They've lost 7 of 8. Their best wins are against Alabama, A&M, UNC, Greensboro. This would be the upset of upsets for Jerry Stackhouse's team if he can beat Auburn tonight. But it does factor into the trend, so I will take that. You can bet that. I like Arizona's team total tonight. Arizona's laying 21 points tonight. Arizona is going to absolutely house USC. But KenPom has this as a 16-point win, not a 21-point win, which is what the line currently is. And Arizona lost their last game, so everyone's assuming that they're going to come in and just destroy, much like when they lost to Stanford on the road. They turned around and beat Colorado 97-50. So that's, I think, why the number is 21, because everyone's assuming that Arizona's going to kill USC today. Look what the team total is. If the team total is around like 85, there's no team totals out at the moment. But if there is one you see, I like Arizona's team total, like 85, 86.5, somewhere in that range. I like Arizona's team total tonight. And then the other game you can jump in on is, the Vandy game. Yeah. So those are the plays you could make coming up here for today. By the way, Dallas last night in the NHL, Their home streak of over 10 straight games going over ended last night. 5-1 final. Total was 6.5 for Dallas at home. So they won the game. But that streak, it's good because now we can get back onto it because I was waiting like, when's that going to be a loss? I'm glad I didn't bet it. But Dallas at home. But the Jets second, holding their opponent to under 2.5 goals. If you guys are on the Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat, some of our guys in the NHL channel are uncovering some amazing nuggets. Addison, Handel, go look at what they're uncovering. Second period, or sorry, team total rather, under 2.5. I keep on saying second period. Under 2.5 goals team total against the Jets has hit 13 straight times. It's pretty good. I didn't bet it last night, but 13 straight times. So it's amazing. It's hit, I believe now, it's been 22 of 26 games that has come in. So watch for the Winnipeg Jets when they play. They don't play again until the 20th, but holding their opponents under 2.5 goals for the game, it's been a very good bet. Now the books are starting to juice it up, but last night you could have gotten it at minus 108. So that did come in. They won the game 4-2. So watch for what Winnipeg is doing with Connor Hellebuck, who is the Vezina Trophy favorite. He's killing it. So, all right, those are picks, plays, and things you can jump into if you want here on a Wednesday. Again, officially, we're taking DePaul plus 8.5, Southern Miss plus 2, Creighton Blue Jays plus 6 here officially for us on the Daily Juice podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all socials at Sports Talk Matt each and every morning. The Daily Juice podcast always being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com.